Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to W.o.W TV. In today's video, we'll explore the evolution of the world-famous Kalashnikov, from its origins as the Type 1 all the way to the AK-12, covering every major model in between, including variants like folding stock versions and machine gun configurations, made by the Soviets and then the Russians. After World War II, the Soviets underwent a small arms revolution, getting rid of their older bolt-action rifles and outdated machine guns. The AK initially served more in a submachine gunner role. Riflemen were issued the SKS, machine gunners were equipped with the RPD, and submachine gunners, specialists, and officers received the Kalashnikov. The entire squad was designed around the 7.62 by 39 round, which all of these weapons used. Over time, the AK's advantages became clear, particularly in reliability and versatility, leading to its widespread adoption as a standard issue rifle. The first Kalashnikov designed rifle was simply known as the AK, short for Avtomat Kalashnikova, Kalashnikov automatic rifle. The original prototype was followed by the Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 versions. While these rifles are commonly referred to as the AK-47, in Soviet service, there was no formal AK-47 designation. Historians and experts generally agree that the term AK-47 is an acceptable label for these early models, especially Type 1. The Type 1. The first AK, the Type 1, was developed by Mikhail Kalashnikov and manufactured using stamped sheet metal, a process refined during World War II. The design was accepted in 1947, but production didn't begin until 1948. Due to the use of a lighter gauge metal and having higher requirement tolerances due to the larger 7.62 by 39 round compared to 7.62 Tokarev rounds of stamped sheet metal guns like the PPS-43, quality control issues arose. Early AK receivers had a high rejection rate, defeating the purpose of fast, inexpensive production. The Type 1 was only produced for 3 years before the transition to the Type 2. The Type 2, though looking quite similar, aside from a few small differences, operates identically, but is made from a very different process. It is a forged and then machined receiver, designed by Valery Kharkov to solve the production problems of the original stamped Type 1. Though being substantially more expensive, complex, and making the gun heavier, it got rid of all the problems they were having with stamping, as well as being very high quality guns. Though the fix was only intended to be temporary, as the whole point of the Kalashnikov was cheap and easy production. Type 3. The Type 3 was essentially a further evolution of the Type 2, still using a milled receiver, but with some minor refinements to improve its performance. AKM. The most ubiquitous AK in the world, and commonly called an AK-47, though it is decisively not. It is an updated version of the earlier Kalashnikovs. This version made numerous improvements to make it lighter, cheaper, and more effective. Once the Soviets perfected the stamping process, they returned to the Type 1 style, who made it more cost-effective by bending a single piece of sheet metal to form the receiver. The M stands for modernized. The AKM is still used by some countries that never upgraded to the more modern variants after the Soviets transitioned to the 5.45. It is also commonly seen with insurgency groups around the world. AKM-S. The AKM-S is a folding stock version of the AKM, with a metal underfolding stock for compactness. AK-74. During the Vietnam War, the Soviets supplied small arms to the Vietnamese opposing the American forces. When the US made the switch to 5.56 by 45 in their new M16 platform, the NVA reported this new round to Moscow. Some were captured and sent there, and they performed tests on the round. The common story goes that the sinister purpose of the new smaller round was to inflict severe wounds to maim but not kill, to force another man to carry away, and to waste medicine treating his wounds. This is mostly a myth. The real reason has more to do with simply lighter ammo for logistics and lower recoil for soldiers, as well as a smaller, lighter projectile moving very fast, creating massive wound cavity channel, which is very lethal, but ballistics is outside the scope of this channel. There are many videos out there explaining the different pros and cons of lighter, faster bullets versus heavier, slower one. All that to say, it was designed to kill, while being light and controllable. In response to this, though, the Soviets in the 70s developed the 5.45 by 39 round, a faster, skinnier bullet, very similar to 5.56, and created the AK-74. Numbers being inverted was just a coincidence. Though operating mechanically the same, the gun was redesigned from the ground up and has very little in the way of parts interchangeability. The easiest way to tell them apart is the straighter magazine allowed by the case of the 5.45 and the iconic break on the end. AK-74N. Standard version of the AK-74 with a side mount for optics. AKS-74. The AKS-74 featured a side folding stock and was designed for vehicle crews, paratroopers, and any troops requiring a more compact rifle. AKS AK-74U. The AKS-74U, often referred to as the Krinkov, was a carbine variant of the AK-74. It had a much shorter barrel and overall length, originally designed to bridge the gap between a full-size rifle and a submachine gun. It was primarily issued to tank crews, officers, and troops expected to engage in close-quarters combat. AK-74M. The AK-74M is a modernized version of the AK-74, incorporating polymer furniture instead of the older wooden stocks, and a folding stock for easier transport. It also included a side rail for mounting optics. AK-100 series. Developed from the AK-74M, the AK-100 series was intended for export, offering parts interchangeability between all the models, only needing a bolt and barrel changes. The series features models chambered in 5.56, 7.62x39, and 5.45, with various barrel lengths, including a full-length and carbine version. The AK-101 was the 5.56 version, while the AK-102 was the carbine variant. The AK-103 and 104 were the 7.62x39 variants respectively, and the AK-105 was the 5.45 carbine variant, while the full-length version is just called the AK-74M. There is also the AK-107, 108, and 109. They feature a counterbalanced recoil compensating system to reduce felt recoil. This system doesn't negate the bullet's force, but rather compensates for the bolt cycling back. While these rifles were not widely adopted by Russia, they were marketed for export, with the AK-107 chambered in 5.45, the 108 in 5.56, and the 109 in 7.62x39. AK-9. The AK-9 also came from the 100 series, a smaller AK carbine variant based on the 74M, like all other 100 series guns. It is chambered in the Russian 9x39 round, firing subsonic bullets and normally fitted with a suppressor. The 9x39 round is made specifically to be quiet when suppressed shooting subs. 200 series. The AK-200 series represents another modernization of the AK platform, specifically the 100 series, offering adjustable folding stocks, accurized barrels, and the addition of mounting rails for modern optics, lights, and lasers and grips. Despite its advanced features, the Russian government chose not to adopt it due to its high cost and sheer surplus of older AK variants already in storage. The 200 was the 5.45 version in rifle length, while the 205 was the carbine variant. As well, there was the 5.56 version, being the 201 and 202, while 7.62x39 was 203 and 204. AK-12. After the Russian MOD refused to adopt the modernized AK-200 series, the Kalashnikov group went back to the drawing board and made the AK-12, a cheaper version of the AK-200 series. This weapon was adopted in a Russian service and was intended to slowly replace older version, but its full implementation has been delayed due to the ongoing war in Ukraine. It comes in the standard 5.45 version, as well as the AK-15 and the 7.62x39 version. It is the most modern AK variant in Russian service. RPK. When the AKM was developed and adopted, the Soviets saw it as more practical to adopt a light machine gun that had parts interchangeability with their new standard issue rifle. The RPK was chambered in the same 7.62x39 round as the AKM. It was also basically an upscaled and heavier AKM. It featured a bipod, a longer, heavier barrel, and a drum magazine for more sustained fire. RPK-74. When the Soviets adopted the AK-74 as their new rifle, because of the caliber change, their light machine gun had to follow. Thus, the RPK-74. Much like its older brother, it is an upscaled 74 chambered in the same 5.45 round with a bipod and a heavier barrel, though its drum magazine was gotten rid of in favor of extended box magazines. RPK-74M. When Russia modernized its AK-74 into the AK-74M, the RPK followed suit with the RPK-74M. Like the 74M, it replaced the wood furniture with black plastic, as well as the side mount for optics. It saw more limited production and use over the AK-74M. Although Russia never formally got rid of its RPKs in service, it's not really in standard use, being replaced by more modern AK rifles and PKM/PKP machine guns. PKM. The PK machine gun is a 7.62x54R chambered belt-fed machine gun. It is debatable whether or not it is an AK. It features the same operating mechanism, though it is very different, but it still deserves a mention. Saiga 12. A gun that certainly is an AK variant, though not in military service, is the Saiga 12, a Russian semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun. While not standard in Russian service, they have been seen in Ukraine for the purposes of shooting down drones, so they also deserved a small mention. The Soviets licensed the AK design, tooling, and technical data to many partner nations, which either produced their own direct copies or made modifications to suit their needs. Some countries even stole the designs without permission, like Poland's WZ-88 Tantal. We'll be covering these foreign variants in future videos, exploring other countries' versions and the changes they made. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Make sure to tune in next time for another exciting adventures, and let us know in the comments, what country should we feature next? And did we miss anything? Thanks for watching. Da 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 da!